Hey guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and it's time for me to review June's Stack of 5 winner, Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. Basically, thank you guys for picking this. Thumbs up. When I was done with this, my comment on Goodreads was, I think Rachel Hawkins is my spirit animal. I love her writing, even when it's not the most original storyline or even nothing wowing about it, just the pure fun and playfulness of her writing I really enjoy. So basically, Hex Hall tells the story of Sophie, a witch who has gotten into some trouble at a number of schools and is sent to what is basically a boarding school for Prodigium, which are witches, werewolves, faeries, things like that. And of course, something is off at the school, there's something going on, and Sophie finds herself in the middle of it. Basic plot of just about every supernatural or paranormal YA out there. It really comes down to how it's done and how likable the characters are, and in this case, it's a winner. The style is just super engaging and light and witty and just full of banter and just sort of compulsively readable. You know, you don't want to put it down, you want to keep going and get to the next little reveal and get to the next bit of humor and not really care how late it is. And a lot of that is due to Sophie. Sophie's very clever, she's down to earth, she's sassy, and I know that sounds really lame, but she is. She's sassy. And she's just kind of a great main character to draw you into this world and make you go with it. She's very root-forable and believably teen without being obnoxiously so. She's just really fun, and I loved her. Some of the love interest elements I could have done without, just because I don't feel the need for them. I know they sell, I know everyone has to be team somebody in a book these days, but it was a take it or leave it situation for me. It was something that I could have seen developing later in the series, but not immediately, or not being as insta-lovey serious as it was, which isn't to say that it was one of those type of till death do us part immediately Romeo and Juliet things. It wasn't. They could have done with a little more subtlety. However, there are twists within the romance and things that made it work and sort of took away some of those saccharine, over-the-top aspects, so I did like that. And I did like both characters and thought that they were kind of well-suited in the framework of the story, so from that aspect it was a foregone conclusion anyway. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say kind of what comes of that or how the book ends, but I will say you're left with questions. It was the type of thing where I saw a lot of the twists coming and saw sort of who had their fingers in which pies, but it was the way it was executed and the way it sort of unfolded that made it work. So even when it is predictable, even the big twists when they're predictable, still remained enjoyable because it was just engaging and it was pulled off well. Now, if you're not a super patient person, a lot of this book might seem like it's set up. None of the really important stuff starts happening until pretty close to the end, which means until then the book is kind of uncategorizable. It just is Sophie at a boarding school. It's just sort of day-to-day life. The ball doesn't really get rolling until the end, and then it kind of just becomes an avalanche. So it very much is set up as the first book in a series. So there is that element, and if you're not patient, maybe that will bother you. However, it didn't bother me because the writing was still just so fun, and Sophie was so engaging, and I liked getting to know this world. That worked for me, but maybe it won't for you. Just bears mentioning. Basically, there's a reason that I put Rachel Hawkins in my beach reads video and mention her as a funk breaker. I think she's just got that style to kind of wake you up and make you want to fly through things, you know, whether it's this whole series or whether it's you read this and then you want to read a different book and a different book and you just keep going but you're in that kind of zone. I think she puts people in that zone. She's just super engaging. The story invites you to just fly through it, and to me that is really good for a funk breaker, and the sort of lightness and humor is good for a funk breaker, and it just makes you want to embark on a massive reading binge. So that's always going to get an A+, that's always going to get a thumbs up no matter how predictable the storyline is. Basically, I was really tempted to go ahead and pick up Demon Glass as soon as I was done with this, and I didn't have time and I still haven't picked it up, but it's right down there and I keep looking at it. What I'm saying is, this one's a winner. Thank you guys for picking it. So that was my thoughts on Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. If you're looking for just a good, fun summer read, something light and engaging to break you out of a funk, or just an author's style who's just really fun and playful and witty, definitely highly recommended. That's all for this Stack of 5 review. You can check out more of my Stack of 5, or feel free to get involved and make your own. Link it up and I will come vote, I promise. And until next time, that's all for me. Happy reading! Who had their fingers in which pies? That always sounds really dirty.